Hi, Dr. Simeon Roger here. Now, a lot of the time, what happens is we have specific concepts we learn in Qigong and Tai Chi, don't we? And some of the time, we don't really grasp those too well. One of those concepts has to do with your lower abdomen. Yeah, your body's main energy storage area in the lower dantian. So, about 20 years ago, I was in a hotel room, remember it vividly. It was a hotel room, it was in Toronto. I was there for a completely unrelated event, but I'd taken a book with me, a book I'd just gotten. And I won't go into the book or the author or any of the details, except to say it was all about this, all about the lower dantian, all about your body's main energy storage and transfer point, and that point from which you initiate movement in Tai Chi and Qigong, that point which is instrumental and critical for your energy cultivation. I remember having my mind completely blown because this was the first ever explanation I had seen of this that made any sense. It was by far the deepest, and guess what? It still is. Still is to this day. And I went away from that thinking, my God, I've got to test this out. And I did. I decided I'm going to test this out. I'm going to take 3 months and I'm really going to put this to the test. And in my own life, the results were incredible. I felt what is classically called your energy sinking. In other words, tension was greatly released in the sort of chest, shoulder, neck area and sank. The lower body comes to a feeling of great solidity. In fact, my entire being felt really solid. I felt very solid for the first time, really. There'd been nothing like that. And the other cool thing is the monkey mind that troubles people so much, that really pretty much gets shut down when you do this. It does. It doesn't totally go away, but it doesn't bother you anymore, and you cease to be bothered about it. Pretty amazing. Intuition went up, stress went way down. And that really meant a lot to me because I was a very stressed out person, even a very anxious person by nature, and this really just put an end to it. This was like, if I could explain it, think of one of those, tribes in some remote area of the Amazon or the South Pacific. Are these stories real? I don't know, but think of it as a tribe that is a primitive hunter-gatherer tribe, and they come across some old automobile that somehow has gotten into their area, and they don't know what it is, but they think it's really cool because they've never seen it before. But they can't use it, and they don't know what to do with it, and they don't know what it's for because they've really never seen one. Imagine that someone comes to them and says, well, watch this. This is called gasoline. We're going to put some in. And then there's the starter button. You could press that and see what happens. It was that, the change was that vivid. The change was that amazing. The change is something I think about every day. But, this is it. In the big problem with the whole concept of whatever you want to call it, the body center, the lower dantian in Chinese medicine and Taoist practice, or what the Japanese would call tanden or hara, the belly, from an energetic point of view, whatever you want to call it. In pre-industrial East Asia, no one ever needed to explain that to people. And so people probably weren't used to explaining it or teaching people how to cultivate that area of the body as opposed to living in their heads, which is what we do in the West. We're very cerebral. So as opposed to being able to balance our body's energies, we very much live in the head and stress ourselves out. That's a whole other topic, and you probably are aware of that. But we tend to ignore concepts in the West that we do not understand. If it doesn't fit into our Western Newtonian worldview, we're not likely to take it on board, so to speak. And that's exactly what has happened with the whole idea of the lower dantian. So you'll see it mentioned in passing, typically in passing, in Tai Chi and Qigong practice most of the time. It's a lot like when I was a kid, I was doing judo. I started off when I was 9 or 10 years old, and I remember, in judo, typical Japanese formalism, you'd be kneeling on the mat. I won't do it because I disappear from the camera. You'd be kneeling on the mat, and there are a bunch of things to go through. You bow to the instructor, you bow to the portrait of Jigoro Kano, the founder of judo, blah, blah, blah. And then the instructor would yell, "Seiza." Okay. And then 5 seconds later, at most 5 seconds later, we get up and start doing stuff. It took me a long time to realize what Seiza even was. I kind of thought it was like pay attention or here we go or something like that. Seiza meant meditation time. It's time to meditate. Well, that really didn't fit into the whole Western idea of a judo class, so it got lip service. Literally 5 seconds of lip service at most. That's one of our big problems here in the West. We ignore fundamental concepts, and if you ignore the fundamental concept of the lower Dantian, if you do not understand how to cultivate the lower Dantian and how to relate to it, your life will not be transformed, and you'll get minimal benefit out of these energy arts. That's my rant for the day. I'm Dr. Simeon Roger. Be sure to join our Facebook group, by the way. You'll find the link in the description below, and hope to see you soon. Take care.